Sonja ever fought a mimic before? Boing, boing.
I don't think she has, but she certainly has fought demons before.
Yay!
Thank you for clicking on the video. And here on our Mimic, we are going to go over an old book. This is Red Sonja #2, titled Demon Knight. This was published in 1982, so more than 4 decades old. And yeah, it looks pretty good still. I just read it. I don't think I ever read it before. There are 6 books in the series, and we have them all here. They have wonderful covers by Boris Vallejo. I know for sure I read the first book in this series, but I don't think I ever had time to read the others. So I'm doing so right now as we are doing a Marvel theme giveaway this month. If you weren't aware, Red Sonja was created by Marvel back in 1973. Her first full appearance is in Conan the Barbarian, issue number 24 here, and she has featured multiple other series, including a team-up with Spider-Man, and we featured that before in the past. Welcome to the channel where we munch on multiple nerdy things, from board games to Dungeons & Dragons, comic books to toys, video games on Saturdays, and gamer snacks on Sundays. We also do monthly giveaways, and this is our current giveaway for the marvelous month of March. It is a pile of 20 plus What If comics, including issue number 50 in a nice foil cover. So how cool is that? If you want to learn how to win this awesome prize, I'll put a link down below. If you're watching this in the future, I'm sorry you missed out. You could click our main channel page for our current giveaway. And if you enjoyed the video you're about to see, hopefully you consider hitting that like and subscribe. It's free to you and it helps us out on the channel. Thank you for watching. My book backlog is nowhere near as big as my video game backlog or my board game backlog. In fact, I think I only have this entire Sonja series to finish up, as well as a couple of Dritz books. And otherwise, all the other books will be read. Before we dive into the story, obviously there are going to be heavy spoilers, so be forewarned. And before we get into the book, of course, let's appreciate the cover by Boris Vallejo. It is a wonderful painted piece. You can see Red Sonja in the front, and what you see here is looks like a floating head, the demon. You bring the cover closer to the camera so you can appreciate the artwork here. Now, this scene doesn't necessarily happen in the story directly. They are demons, but she encounters actually multiple of them towards the end of the story. Let's flip it to the back here, though. And she lived in a savage world, in an uncivilized age, in a world ruled by men and governed by sword. They called her Red Sonja for her flame red hair, for her smoldering fire of her pride. Falsely charged with the murder of a commander to whom she has sworn allegiance, Red Sonja must flee or be killed without a chance to clear her name. Deep in the desert, she comes across a mysterious city of El Kak, and exhausted, she seeks shelter there. She enters the city against her better judgment, for hanging before the gates are shriveled bodies of 6 young women, clearly the victims of some blood-thirsty ritual. Demon Knight. So how cool of a setup is that? So first of all, these demons are actually aliens. So they come far away from the stars, and it's not the first alien that is in the Hyperion world. I believe the classic Robert Howard Conan story, Tower of the Elephant, that was also an alien. So these aliens were in a ship. They crashed on the planet many centuries ago, and they sort of feast on souls. And so that's why this cult was set up to raise people and sacrifice them. But it doesn't seem to be working as well, so they try to sacrifice more and more. And this is where our adventure starts with Red Sonja. She comes across this village, and there are 6 dead bodies of female virgins that were sacrificed to appease these demons. The reason why Sonja had to go to this area is she's trying to escape this commander who had brutally killed his captain, and he's trying to take over the leadership role, but also because that captain had eyes and longing for Red Sonja, and he was jealous. And yes, that is a common plot thread in most of her stories. The story is unique for a couple of reasons. First of all, she's sort of in the background for most of the time until the very end. Most of the other characters, such as a temple guard and a virgin priest and a sorcerer, they all sort of take more of the center stage. Most of these characters, I would say half of them end up dying throughout the novel, but she's sort of in the background. However, she is garnered attention by all these different characters because of a prophecy within. So let's take a closer look at that. And the prophecy states, when from the north a warrior comes with hair like scarlet flame, the hills shall rumble like beaten drums, a woman shall speak a name, and fire shall burn as the folk return to the hells from whence they came. All right, so that is the prophecy. Getting to the true meaning of the prophecy, warrior comes with hair like scarlet flame. Well, that is obviously Red Sonja. So when a woman speaks a name, that's actually going to be one of the temple virgins. She gains access to a magical wand and speaks the command word of it and is able to unleash some devastating magical power. And as the folk return, that would be the earth folk. That's what the cult calls these aliens, earth folk. They return en masse, and then they go back to the hells, but actually it's space. They return back to space. So that is the meaning of that. So how is this all achieved? Basically, Red Sonja gets captured when she enters that city, as obviously she's not going to be happy that women are being sacrificed, so she voices her strong opinion and gets put in jail. Now, while in jail, one of the temple virgins and one of the palace guards believes that she matches the description of the prophecy and want her freed and have her directed to the mountains where those evil earth folk live. Now, in those mountains is a wizard, and that's another interesting thing about this story. There's quite a bit of magic in here, and it's actually real magic. Some of these stories, certainly the Conan ones, some of the magic is actually just tricks or just throwing gunpowder around or smoke bombs and things of that nature. But there's actually true magical power within. In one scene, Sonja ends up in the mountain and is being chased by the commander and his army, trying to capture her because he is blaming her for the killing of the captain, which of course he is the one that did. But also he secretly longs for Red Sonja. So when they're up in the mountain, there is a sorcerer wizard that lives up there, and he uses his wand and magical powers and devastates the army, creates these earthquakes and has flames coming out of his wand. And it's a pretty cool scene. This sorcerer has been living for a very, very long time, and he knows the true background of these demons. So he also knows that they feed on these souls, but certain ones are more special. And he knows that Red Sonja actually has a special aura around her, as well as that commander that is chasing her, as well as that virgin girl that helped freed her. So long story short, that virgin girl ends up with the wand. She steals it and tries to kill the invaders that are entering her city, led by that commander. But also there is a lieutenant that raped her within the story. So she ends up using that wand and lays waste to a lot of that remaining army. But also during the story, the commander that is chasing Red Sonja follows her to the mountain, and he comes by himself because, as is mentioned, his army is now destroyed. And when they come to the mountain, Red Sonja and the commander have an epic battle, and he states that, yes, I know of the legend where if I defeat you in fair fight, then you will become my lover. But she, of course, does not want to do that. And she fights like hell and, of course, decapitates him. In doing so, his soul is now released, and these earth folk demons come out and just gobble up his soul. Had Red Sonja died, these earth folk would have done the same thing, as she is a strong soul. I suppose these are supposed to represent like anchor points, like in MCU, where they are an important figure and maybe their will or soul is more valuable compared to others. Is this a great read? Well, I think it's interesting in the fact that there is a lot of magic here. I guess the bad thing about it is Red Sonja, once again, is not really too relevant to the story until the very end. I think the first book in the series still is the best, and I'll eventually get through the rest of this series and let you know what I think. Okay, so that has been our quick little review of Red Sonja number 2, Demon Knight. Thank you for watching. Your time is always appreciated. Keep on adventuring out there.